Middle-class workers winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning.
All right, so will it last is the big question. Here with expert analysis is senior fellow for the National Taxpayers Union, Mattie Duppler. Thank you so much, Mattie, for coming on this morning.
Of course. Good morning.
These are great numbers. These should help Republicans in the midterms, and it sounds like they're going to need some help. What do you make of what we see here?
Well, I think last week we saw a lot of good news for the economy. And of course, this is building on months and months of good news for the economy. You saw earlier that the expansion of blue collar worker jobs is really just the last data point where we know the economy is not only working for employers, but for workers as well. And this really belies the left's point. The left has been trying to cast the tax reform plan and Trump's deregulatory agenda as something that only helps the upper echelons of society. And we simply know that that's not true. We know workers are feeling the effects, not only because we saw data last week that said wages are rising, but now we know that jobs are becoming more available in some of those sectors that have remained sticky in the last couple of years. That's mining, construction, manufacturing. We've seen a lot of enthusiasm from employers on manufacturing, and now we know workers are feeling the bump as well.
I think a lot of people, Mattie, say, okay, things look great right now, but what's going to happen 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now? How long do you think we can sustain this?
Well, frankly, what we have seen over the last year and a half with President Trump is a fundamental rewriting of the way that our laws are aligned to induce business investment here in the United States. So really, if things continue, we can see an impact here for years and years to come. And yesterday, the House Ways and Means Committee announced that it will be doing tax reform 2.0. What that means is they'll be making permanent a lot of the tax cuts in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So with that change in the law, having permanent changes to some of the onerous parts of our tax code, that means that the economy could really be churning for years and years to come, which is very exciting news, because what we need certainty for businesses and workers moving forward. We need businesses to be able to invest for the long term, and that's what will continue to spur growth for the economy here at home.
Mattie, there's so much information on the economy. There's so much data that comes in. And what's frustrating is that for most people, it's hard to determine. And in this case, President Obama has been very capable of convincing the left that he's responsible for the uptick.
Right.
And President Trump has also been very capable of convincing the right that it's his economy.
Right.
How do you determine if you're just, somebody sitting at home?
Well, how you determine that generally is looking at your own circumstances. I always say people don't vote with their checkbooks. They vote how they feel about their checkbooks. So with this good economic data, you're right. You can kind of go put your green eye shades on and you can see a lot of different numbers in front of you and ask what it means. But Americans right now feel more confident in their own economic circumstances. They have a job, and not only do they have a job, if they don't like their job, they know they can leave and find another one because there are more jobs than workers available right now. Their own wages are rising. They're starting to see not only the tax cuts show up in their paychecks, but they're seeing their paychecks get bigger as a result of wages increasing. And employers are investing back in their workers. They're becoming more productive. So all of the metrics in the economy really are showing an uptick, but it's how people feel. It's their circumstances changing. And that's why when you see President Obama try to take credit for this economy, it's almost laughable, because for years he tried to tell Americans they were better off, but people didn't feel that way. And so now that they feel that way, they know that because Trump has removed some of the barriers in the economy, they get to be better off in their own circumstances at home.
All right, Mattie Duppler, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Time now to check in with Steve Ducey, see what's coming up on Fox and Friends. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Jillian. Good morning to you. It was 17 years ago today we were here on the air when